This is a quick little video of my 1998 Jeep Cherokee and all the little goodies I put on it to make it better. Cherokee forums, XJ Talk, and there's 50 other sites I used to help me with all my ideas. I put it all into one Jeep. I wanted something that's off-road ready. Still haven't got sliders yet, as you can see, but those are coming. I believe that's next on my list. Let's start back here. Got a 2001 Chrysler 8 1/4 axle, 29 spline. The solid axle cover on it, 1/4 inch thick, with the Aussie or Azui, or I don't know how to say it, locker in it, automatic locker. That company right there. It's worked good. Had it for 6 months so far. Driven it daily driver all the time. Chirps when you gas it. Unlocks when you just cruise through a corner. That axle's been pretty strong. They say the strength's comparable to a Dana 44, so that'll work out for me. Other than that, we have the front axle out of a 89 automatic Jeep to get my 355 gearing that I have in the rear to match. Originally came with 307 gears to stick, so I wanted to get 355s in there without actually having to pay for the gearing, so I just got the axle off Craigslist for $100. As you can see, it's got the vacuum disconnect, but I actually did a little mod to it to where the vacuum is no longer needed. I ran a cable to my cab so I can pull that little lever right there, like so. You twist, pulls out. You gotta yank it a little bit, and the car has to be moving and turned slightly. And then you can lock it, and that engages the front axle to where I can actually have 4-wheel drive low, and I can have 2-wheel drive low, just in case I wanted to go a little slower on the trail, which most people don't have that option. It's a little nice feature to have, but people have rumored about it being weaker and so on and so forth. Just so you guys know, I've never heard of anybody actually breaking the collar itself or the axle shafts on this side. It's mostly that side, or it's the U-joints out here, so that allows my front drive shaft not to spin, which means less vibration for me, which means I can do 90 comfortably. I'll take that. I don't care if it breaks with 31-inch tires. It was meant to break. I don't think I'm going to have any issues, though, since there's no locker in the front. Only way I'm going to break it is if I turn left and gas it against a rock or something. Let's move over here. I have onboard air system I made out of my air conditioning. That's an inline oiler. You can adjust it on that knob right there. Sends oil into it so I don't seize this thing after using it for 10 minutes. And this is an air oil filter, which separates the oil from the air so I'm not putting oil in my tires, and blows it out the bottom. I have a hose running to the bottom of my car with a little container down there to catch it and dump it monthly. Pressure gauge, T. Christie, 0 to 160. It only goes up to 120 because that's what my pressure switch, my V-Air 90 on, 120 off pressure switch goes to. You can run these safely at 120. Anything over, you're asking for trouble. 500 PSI, Goodyear Gorilla hose. Make sure I have no leaks. Custom made for me, 15 feet to go to the back for my air tank. Seems to be reliable. I've had no problems. I can fill a tire pretty quick, fill up everything else. As you can see, I got my Iron Man motor mounts, 1/4 inch thick polyurethane. Allows for no movement, forward, backward, sideways, and gives extra vibration to the cab, but since it's a stick, I don't get that at idle. It doesn't really affect me much. People with automatics might tend to say they don't like it, but it's personal opinion. I like the rigid feel it gives the car. Makes it feel like it actually has a frame instead of a unibody, so I would always definitely suggest these particular mounts. $100, really worth the money. Changed the whole feel of the car. And putting those in allowed me to get dual electric fans in here, which not a lot of you people have done or have seen. I took this off of, stole it off an XJ website, somebody's idea of using 2 stock fans. I like that because they have high CFMs. This is a 2001 fan from a Cherokee. I think it's 2100 CFM or close to that. That's a 95 XJ fan, both bought brand new off partsgeek.com, $60 for each. That's 1300 to 1400 CFM. I have them wired together so they come on periodically together at a variable speed. They start at 60% when it reaches the temperature I want them to come on, and if it goes over that, once it hits 10 degrees over, they're on at 100%, so they vary from 60 to 100, which is nice. And when they come on, it's very low power draw. They ease on. They don't just kick on full speed. It takes 2 seconds for them to turn on. I like that, so my alternator gauge doesn't drop at all. There's a Flexolite variable speed controller for the fans. I have it wired up to both fans, as I said. 2 wires, and I just spliced them down there together. And to turn this bad boy on, this green wire goes all the way to my fuel pump relay. I spliced it into that yellow wire, which goes to that unit right there. That's my fuel pump relay. So when my ignition turns on and tells this relay to turn on to send power to my fuel pump to prime, it also tells my fan control to turn on, so I don't have to worry about it overheating if somebody else drives my car. It'll be on when my keys are on, and it turns off 30 seconds after the keys are off. Very convenient, real nice feature. Fans have worked good. Clearance hasn't been an issue yet. I had to modify this fan a little bit, the 95 one. There's a 3-inch circle on the back of it I had to cut off, which wasn't hard. I just used a razor knife and it pretty much chipped right off. And that allowed me to unmount the fan motor from this plastic shroud right here and take out the 3 washers that it came with, which allowed the fan itself to move forward closer to the radiator, about 1/4 inch, which gave me enough clearance to fit it in here with no worries at about 1/4 inch, and not have to cut the shroud itself or do any sawing or anything like that. It was pretty smooth. Only thing I did cut is this tab right here, as you can see, is not there, but it's on the other one right there. I cut that just to suck in the top a little bit more. I didn't like the way it sat, which made it butt up to the radiator a little better, give me a little better cooling. Seems to be working good. It's about 3,400 CFM at full speed, roughly. And I say that because I don't have air conditioning condenser in front, so I don't have to worry about that drag going through, even though it's not much. I understand. I got the aluminum radiator, high flow. It's a, what is this, 1-core Scylla eBay. Seems to have worked good for now. I punctured it about 8 months ago with the mechanical fan. That's why it inspired me to get the electric fan, and pinched it with pliers. It's been working good ever since. No need to comment on this, pretty self-explanatory. Low budget airbox, low budget air filter. Works good, a little bit more power. Whoop-de-doo. Open cooling conversion. And that's about it.